The complainant in the 2 million rand case involving taxi boss Joe Ferrari Sibanyoni and his co-accused has refuted claims that he was asked to drop the charges. Tengane Ntuli says allegations that his brother-in-law and MP David Skosana contacted him are false and malicious. He maintains that he has suffered significant harm and remains fully committed to ensuring that justice is served. Ntuli has also criticized the media for reporting on unverified allegations.
There's a saying that says, if you have to sneak to do it, lie to cover it up, or delete it to avoid being found, then you shouldn't be doing it. And that is what is going on with the case of Joe Sibanyoni. Because MPs are implicated, people are actually changing stories, the case is starting to be all over the place, with the NPA actually appealing the conviction of state prosecutor in the Joe Sibanyoni matter. We know that this matter is actually far from being over. It's getting worse by day. In this video, I wanted us to actually go talk about the Joe Sibanyoni case and what has been going on, the drama that has been unfolding throughout the weekend from the time the matter was struck off the road.
Example being the fact that the magistrate has convicted the prosecutor in absentia, among other things, and the warrant of arrest was issued. Therefore, we felt that we needed to now appeal this matter, and the implication thereof are that then the matter will automatically be suspended. That is the warrant of arrest and that order until this matter has been ventilated in court. Therefore, the second thing that we are asking from the magistrate is for written reasons of the order, so that we are able to see whether there are further grounds that we can use to deal with this matter. And thirdly is the issue around taking the matter forward in terms of this case being struck off the roll. And to that effect, the National Director of Public Prosecution has already appointed senior counsel who is now looking into this matter, will give us advice on how to take it further.
So we know that last week the matter of Joe Sibanyoni was struck off the roll because the prosecutor was nowhere to be found. There's a lot of conspiracy theories as to what actually happened with the prosecutor, up until it was revealed that the prosecutor has been threatened. However, the mess was already there because we were told that this person was suspended and that he's facing serious charges of contempt of court. But that's the thing. All of these actions were premature from the side of the NPA and also from the side of the magistrate, because this matter became just the talks of the town for days. What that added the oil to the fire was now us hearing that the Member of Parliament actually contacted this businessman who placed or went and made the charges against Sibanyoni, the complainant, who said that Joe Sibanyoni actually has been extorting money in an amount of 2.2 million rands from him. And it looks like this man was called by this Member of Parliament. They had a conversation on the side, and they wanted to resolve this particular matter on the side without having to actually involve the courts. And a lot of people made their own assumptions as to who is this Member of Parliament. But then this matter took a turn when Mr. Ntuli himself, the complainant, came forward, spoke about something that made people to think that probably this is the MP that they are talking about.
Refuted claims that he was asked to drop the charges. In a statement seen by eNCA, Tengane Ntuli says allegations that his brother-in-law and MP David Skosana contacted him are false and malicious. He maintains that he has suffered significant harm and remains fully committed to ensuring that justice is served. Ntuli has also criticized the media for reporting on unverified allegations.
So before we can get to the issue of the MP, it is very important for us to first exhaust the issue of the prosecutor. So I did make an episode regarding the prosecutor being threatened. I'm not going to delve deep on that. I encourage you to go and watch that particular episode. But then we heard that the prosecutor was very threatened and that he received a lot of threats. And from the Sunday World newspaper, we found out that he was receiving calls and threats every time he was going to court. On the day he was going to court, he actually was told that there was going to be a prosecutor that comes and stands for him because he did not feel safe, and he complained about this even prior. But then this person was then forced to come and appear even when he said that he can't appear. There's a lot of negligence from the magistrate.
The matter of safety for officers of the court, in this case, the prosecutor who claims to have felt unsafe, there's been reporting, of course, of phone calls that the prosecutor received. The NPA, what's the NPA first of all view on this and action that follows these kind of reports?
No, we take that with the seriousness that it deserves. And people who were at the court would have seen that when you've got high-profile cases like that, we automatically put security measures in place. And the prosecutor that we are talking about, when he went to the court, he was protected throughout the time. Therefore, there might have been other things that they used to try and intimidate him over and above the fact that he was protected. But we take that with the seriousness that it deserves. And we really are saying that it is in our interest that our prosecutors are protected. They are officers of the court and they need to be protected so that they can make sure that justice is seen to be done.
Actually, now the magistrate is being investigated. This whole matter is being investigated because we heard from Khanyago, who's the spokesperson of the NPA, talking about the fact that they're going to investigate a lot of things, including the fact that the prosecutor is being threatened and the negligence from the presiding officer at that time, which is the magistrate. Because we saw that the magistrate just didn't want to hear it. And what is worse is that from the legal experts, the way they put this matter is that they could have exhausted other options, the magistrate, and that the accused persons can stay in jail for a period of 10 days, excluding weekends and holidays. So these people did not even stay there for 10 days, but already there was a lot of panic from different people that Sibanyoni, their bail application was supposed to be heard. But as I've said, the legal experts are saying that he was supposed to stay there for a while before the matter could be struck off the road.
Unprecedented scenes that we did see in court on the day. The magistrate warning the prosecutor to be in court on the Monday and the prosecutor not being there, and the prosecutor claiming that, he had faced death threats and accordingly could not make it to court. And the matter then being struck from the court's roll and the magistrate issuing a warrant of arrest for the prosecutor. So most certainly I've never seen something like that appear or happen before in our criminal courts. But a number of questions that need to be asked. Firstly, I do think that the magistrate was a bit harsh. In this instance, the magistrate could have, she was fully within her rights to call for an inquiry and for the court itself to lead an inquiry into whether the person should be released on bail or not. And secondly, one would have expected more senior prosecutors to step up and take charge of the matter. And in my view, this has purely delayed the matter, and that it will most likely be back in court soon again. So one would hope that if the NPA is in possession of sufficient evidence in this matter, that they then place the matter on the court's roll properly and that it is then ventilated in an open court.
There were other reliefs that the magistrate could have looked at, including the fact of finding out, giving the prosecutor an opportunity to plead his case as to how did it become possible for him to not appear. Because now we are hearing that this person was actually receiving threats, which then rings an alarm to the issues of negligence and not being sensitive to the issues of the underlying, especially since we know how is it that our courts are not safe anymore, our magistrates are not safe anymore, our prosecutors, our judges, legal representatives, as well as the accused and complainants themselves. The courts have just become a crime scene. We know that this has happened many a times. And for someone to not sensitize themselves with that issue and actually be so lenient because of that signals to a very serious and big problem that we are faced with in this particular country. And I'm hoping that this actual magistrate, they're just going to take this matter very serious and not be too lenient with her, in as much as she didn't become too lenient with him.
We infer from reports that this particular magistrate did essentially put her hand up to oversee this case. That's the first thing. But the fact that despite the prosecutor making it known that appearing in the morning on Monday would not be possible as they had another case, that was completely ignored by the magistrate. What do we infer from this?
Yeah, those are some of the things that we'll look at. That is why we are saying in the statement that we have filed a formal request for the written reasons for the order, for all the orders that were made, so that we are able to understand what the rationale behind this was, so that we can see what are the next steps that we can take.
Well, speaking of next steps, the matter of re-enrolling this case, what does that look like, and how far along on this journey is the MPA?
No, we are also having that as an option, and we have clearly indicated that the National Director of Public Prosecution has instructed that this matter be re-enrolled. And what then needs to happen is the processes that needs to be done by the Director of Public Prosecution in Mpumalanga, who has to then go and sign the certificate for this matter to be re-enrolled.
They should teach her a lesson and actually make an example with her as to how should a presiding officer behave, even though she's a magistrate, but she's supposed to behave a certain way and be very sensitive to a lot of issues, especially since the prosecutor did highlight to the fact that he might not be available on that particular Monday. But his absentia should have just allowed this matter to actually be, postponed for a certain period of time. And failure for the NPA to actually provide a prosecutor will then allow for these people to actually receive the bail. Another thing that I think is a big thing in this particular case, or is something that is worth noting and talking about, is that even though they did, the defense did get an opportunity to plead their case and speak about the issues regarding this matter being struck off the roll and the failure of the NPA to actually show up and delay, and the right from the Constitution that says that this person has the right to bail and a fair trial. I think that they could have now been patient, or argued even further. If this lady thinks these people deserve bail, allow them to argue further. But I think with the fact that the prosecutor is receiving bail, it's just making this whole matter to fall off.
We saw this on television. We immediately had to take action. And the Director of Public Prosecutions in Mpumalanga is in the process of now ensuring that the suspension kicks in and a disciplinary action is taken against him, because remember, he is now a convicted person, and that is sought by law enforcement, who is actually a prosecutor in the case. The accused persons that were facing serious charges of extortion and money laundering are now free until such time that we comply with the legal provisions of the relevant section. But he has impressed on the public to exercise a bit of patience whilst we are dealing with this matter. A national director does not consider it to be a setback, though it is disappointing. He has expressed this shock and dismay, but internally appropriate disciplinary action will be taken.
But there's another component that making this matter to fall off. This component is the too much involvement of the media. The media, guys, is too involved, and not because the media is involved, just involved. I don't know if that makes sense. They're involved because they complained, and the respondent are busy talking to the media. The representative of Joe Sibanyoni came and said, guys, this is a case before the court. And I'm very disappointed that the defense actually did what they did. Because they went to the media and said, no, our clients did not do this. Actually, Mr. Ntuli is owing our client money and does not want to pay money.
This is absolutely weak to non-existent. There was a business relationship that was in place between our client and the complainant in this matter. In fact, our client saw the complainant 2 weeks ago at a funeral. So there's no threat to anybody. Nobody's intimidated. There was a business transaction that ran for a period of 3 years.
To the value of how much?
I'm not certain with the numbers. I'm not certain with the figures. We'll see what the state says. I'll compare it to what my client says and what my client's version is. But the complainant is somebody that's been at my client's residence. He's a friend. Everything is achieved to date. He's achieved because of assistance through my client. He's a person who borrowed money from my client.
What was the fallout then?
Precisely.
How did he get you?
He's a person who borrowed money from our client and, of course, who repaid money. But we will ventilate our issues in court.
Then Mr. Ntuli comes and says, no, I don't owe this person money, talking through the media. I just think that This is one of the things that are very problematic about this case. It's all over the place. It's getting a lot of media attention. Not that it shouldn't, but I think that some of the arguments should be left for the court. There's nothing wrong with just saying, no comment, let us wait for the court. Why should you tell us your entire case before you even give it to the court? Because I think that is their defense. That's literally their defense. And probably they have evidence to prove that Mr. Ntuli actually owes Mr. Joe Sibanyoni. The involvement of the press is making this matter to be too much out of control. Hence, I don't blame the media now revealing, getting the information from the sources. I don't know if the sources are from the subs, but there was an information which was tweeted by Umzilikazi wa Africa, saying that actually there's a member of parliament that actually called the complainant. He even put the timestamps and everything to say that this member of parliament, their call was to speak to the complainant to say that, no, you guys can resolve this matter outside of court. You don't have to involve the courts. And it just drew a lot of talks and a lot of media attention to say, who's this MP? A lot of people speculated, spoke about Julius Malema. Others even said that it's Skosana, because there were pictures of Skosana and Joe Sibanyoni. And we also heard that Skosana is the brother-in-law of Ntuli. I don't know if I've put it well. Brother-in-law. Is it brother-in-law? What? Yeah. But he has some relations with Ntuli. But now, that's the thing. No one said which MP. No MP was mentioned. People are just making their own assumptions. But the one that took more attention was the one of Skosana because of the pictures. And then Mr. Ntuli comes and says, Skosana didn't call me. Actually, there's no member of parliament that called me. This whole thing shifted and started causing another mess to say that, is it Skosana Velo who called? Because we even heard from Yusuf Abramji, from the eNCA, that even Cameroon, the head of the policing committee, knows about this whole thing.
And now this allegation of alleged interference with a state witness, who, by the way, we are told his life is always also at risk. The state witness, the person who opened the extortion charges, is apparently fearing for his life. And just moments ago, Heidi, I spoke to the chairperson of the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Police, Ian Cameron, and he says to me that he's also heard rumors that the alleged MP involved may be a member of the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Police. And if that is the case, it raises more questions about the conduct of this MP and also the MP who probably was a member of the Ad Hoc Committee probing misconduct and the status of the criminal justice system. And I think a lot of focus now is not only going to be on the striking of the interference. We know that he's well connected. He's a taxi boss that rose to fame in Kwaggafontein, started off with one taxi some years ago. Today, he's one of the major taxi owners in South Africa. And also, I think very importantly, Heidi, we must not forget that Sibanyoni is well connected, not only with politicians. We've heard stories about his association with the husband of the former public protector of South Africa, who, as we know, is now also a member of a political party. The ex-husband is apparently very close to Sibanyoni. So a lot of allegations are now surfacing.
Because Ian Cameroon actually has been formed because this member that has been heavily implicated is a member of the committee, the police committee. So this matter has just become too much of a mess. That is just a speculation or a spectacle of the media. People are making their own assumptions. People are making their own stories. And I blame both the complainant and the defendant. Both of them, the defendant, the complainant, and the respondent, all of them, they have played a very big role in this case just being privy and open to a lot of scrutiny and media attention. With the drama of the prosecutor and the drama of the magistrate, it's even topping it up. I know that we heard from Aklen Nabate that actually this matter is going to go back to court.
Then I know the Joe Sibanyoni matter is now going to be re-enrolled. I know as the police, you were hard at work to try and gather this evidence. Your reaction to the re-enrollment?
Well, Mpumalanga police had indicated that they still believe that they've got a strong case against the four accused. They still maintain that the evidence that they've gathered remains intact, and they are working closely, obviously, with the NPA to ensure that that matter is re-enrolled and the four accused then are brought before court to answer to the charges that they are facing.
We heard that actually they are going to re-enroll the matter. Sibanyoni is going to be charged again. But I just think that I wouldn't be shocked if the complainant actually withdraws. Because if indeed the complainant is lying regarding the call from the Member of Parliament, then clearly I want to believe and assume that he is capable of anything. He can even change. You'll find that even now, while the NPA is investigating whether they are busy having that discussion that they wanted to have to begin with. So I don't know what you guys think about this case. I just think that for me, it's just all over the place. And I think that even the accused, the 4 accused, they know that high chances they might get away with it. Besides them even influencing anybody. Not forgetting the fact that obviously the prosecutor has been influenced and has been threatened. And that in and of itself is putting a lot of spectacle on that particular case, of which I think it's the worst thing to do. It's like you try to unalive the prosecutor. You're making it seem like Vele, you are hiding something. You're making it seem like Vele, you are hiding something. I don't know what you guys think. Let me hear what you think. Let me hear your thoughts. Mr. Joe Sibanyoni Chenene, because if you guys remember, because he called him Chenene, of which Chenene in Sizulu is general. I don't know, because for him, because he says that Chenene, JS was Chenene as in like Shadrach Sibia. But we know that he was talking, JS was Joe Sibanyoni. He was talking about Joe Sibanyoni because we found that from Ukereth Mdiz. But that's besides the point. What I'm trying to say is that this case is just becoming a mess. A lot of people are implicated. A lot of people are involved. There's just a lot of talks. And I think that it's the best thing to do is to just allow the NPA to continue with the investigation and see what this appeal, or how this appeal will be concluded. But I think the prosecutor very well will be exonerated and these charges will be dropped of the contempt of court. I don't know. Nonetheless, let me hear your thoughts. Let me hear what you think. I'll see you guys on my next upload. Bye.